It all blew up when my brother, Marcus, framed me using some $15,000 deepfake to steal my girlfriend. The truth came out after a drunken boast of his, a truth he never imagined would surface. I'm 28, and Marcus is 30, and growing up with him was a unique experience. Favorite child doesn't even begin to describe it. Remember those Reddit threads about parents favoring one kid? Multiply that by 10, 100, maybe 1,000. Looking back, it's insane how blatant it was. But as a kid, you just accept it as normal. Take high school, for example. Marcus stole $200 from mom's purse. What happened? She brushed it off, said he must have needed it. Me? I got grounded for a month for forgetting to take out the trash. Seriously. Then, when he was 17, Marcus totaled Dad's car while texting. Instead of punishment, they bought him a new one for college, naturally. When I asked for help buying a car 2 years later, I got the responsibility lecture and told to save up. It wasn't just the big stuff, either. It was the daily grind. Dinner conversations always revolved around Marcus. His day, his friends, his grand plans. My parents would hang on every word, nodding and smiling. When I tried to share something, I got a "that's nice" at best. Eventually, I just stopped bothering. Marcus wasn't some innocent golden boy, either. He knew exactly what he was doing, expertly maneuvering situations to make himself look like a saint and me like a screw-up. I still remember when he broke Mom's favorite vase playing ball inside, something we were forbidden from doing. I got blamed. He told them I dared him, that he was just trying to make me happy. I was literally in my room doing homework. And the smirk he'd give me afterward? Unforgettable. That look when you know you've gotten away with something? That was his default expression around me, whenever our parents weren't watching. To them, he was the perfect, caring older brother. I eventually resigned myself to the fact that I could never measure up. I could have cured cancer, and they'd have asked why I didn't cure all diseases like Marcus would have. Okay, maybe an exaggeration, but you get the point. The frustrating part was, Marcus wasn't even that exceptional. He got average grades, was okay at sports, had some friends. Just a regular guy. Yet, my parents acted like he was a gift to humanity. Meanwhile, I was doing just as well in school, had my own friends, played sports too, but it never registered. I tried talking to them about it once when I was 16. Big mistake. They accused me of being jealous and immature and told me I should try to be more like Marcus. More like Marcus. That's how they handled everything. It was a constant, irritating refrain in my head. A B instead of an A? I should be more like Marcus. A girl rejected my clumsy date invitation? I should be more like Marcus. It was raining? Well, if I were more like Marcus, the sun would be shining. Looking back now, I understand how that relentless comparison shaped everything that followed, how it inadvertently paved the way for his actions. When you're perpetually placed on a pedestal, deemed incapable of fault, you start believing you can skirt any consequences. And when you've spent a lifetime observing your brother manipulate those around him, you'd think you'd recognize the signs when he finally sets his sights on something genuinely important to you. But I didn't. Despite everything I've just recounted, even with a clear understanding of his character, I still underestimated the depths he would sink to. Perhaps that reveals my naivety, but I genuinely believed some boundaries were inviolable, even for him. I was wrong about that, too. After extricating myself from the web of family dynamics, I channeled my energy into building my own life. I secured a steady position at a marketing firm, managing digital operations and troubleshooting. It wasn't glamorous, but it provided a stable income, and I was proficient at it. That's where Rachel entered the picture. It happened at the company picnic in 2018, one of those obligatory corporate bonding exercises where everyone pretends to enjoy their colleagues' company. I was strategically positioned near the food table, my preferred sanctuary from small talk, when she approached me and said, "I see. We both had the same idea about the strategic snack table position." That was Rachel. She worked in marketing 2 floors above my department. We started discussing the inherent torture of these events and somehow spent the entire afternoon in conversation. She had this unique ability to poke fun at things without resorting to meanness. She could highlight the absurdity of a situation while making you laugh instead of leaving you feeling cynical. We started sharing lunch breaks at work. Initially, it was purely platonic, two individuals navigating the corporate maze together. Then, one day, she mentioned wanting to see the latest Marvel movie, but none of her friends shared her enthusiasm for superheroes. I volunteered to accompany her. Smooth move, right? We went to this small theater near the office, and midway through the film, during a particularly intense scene, she took my hand. She didn't let go. Even after the scene ended, everything just seemed to fall into place. Rachel was unlike anyone I had dated before. She genuinely listened when I spoke, not just waiting for her turn to talk. We could discuss serious matters, trivial things, or simply enjoy each other's presence in comfortable silence. That first year was incredible. We embarked on spontaneous weekend trips, simply choosing a direction and driving. After about 2 years, we decided to move in together, cramming our combined belongings into a small apartment that barely accommodated everything, but it was ours. That's when I started seriously considering proposing. I even began saving for a ring, and that's when Marcus reappeared in my life. I hadn't seen much of him since moving out of our parents' house, just the occasional obligatory family dinner where I'd make a brief appearance. But when he learned I was in a serious relationship, courtesy of my mother's loose lips, he suddenly expressed a desire to reconnect. Initially, I wanted to believe his intentions were genuine. Maybe he was maturing. Maybe he actually wanted to mend the rift between us. But then he started showing up at our apartment uninvited, always feigning casualness. I could see him watching, always watching Rachel, testing her, testing me. He'd bring up my past relationships when she was around, little jabs dressed up as jokes. "You sure you want to settle down, man? Your track record isn't exactly stellar. Let's hope this one lasts longer than the others." And then there was the way he talked to her, the compliments that lingered a beat too long, the playful teasing that danced just outside the lines of appropriateness, but felt like a violation nonetheless. He'd lean in close whenever she said something even remotely funny, always finding an excuse to brush her arm. He remembered the little things she mentioned, seemingly insignificant details, and brought them up later as if he were the only one paying attention. And Rachel, she actually liked him. She thought he was charming, funny, and considered it sweet that he was trying to be a better brother. That's the thing about Marcus. He could charm the birds out of the trees. Me? I kept telling myself I was being paranoid, that I was overreacting, that he was honestly trying to be better. Even though I voiced my concerns to Rachel more than once, I tried to ignore that nagging feeling in my gut. The feeling that Marcus didn't really want to reconnect. What he truly wanted was to take something from me. I remember what turned out to be the last truly normal day we had. We were just hanging out at the apartment. Rachel was buried in marketing reports, grading them, and I was tinkering with her laptop, trying to fix some glitch. Everything felt peaceful, almost idyllic. I keep replaying that day in my head, agonizing over how I had no idea what was coming, how I should have held her closer, said something more meaningful. But you never know when the mundane is going to turn into a memory, right? It all started with that work conference in Seattle. Rachel couldn't make it because she had a major marketing campaign launching that week, so I went alone. I made an effort to document the trip, took a bunch of pictures, posted updates in our group chat with Rachel and some of our friends. I even FaceTimed with Rachel every night, showing her the view from my hotel room window. The conference wrapped up on Thursday. I flew back Friday morning, grabbed a coffee at the airport, and went straight to the office because I was swamped. Everything seemed completely ordinary. Rachel texted me about meeting up for dinner later. I remember texting back, "Can't wait to see you," like some naive idiot blissfully unaware that his entire world was about to shatter. Around 3 o'clock that afternoon, Rachel showed up at my office. I initially thought she was surprising me, but when I looked up from my computer, her face was wrong. She was clutching her phone so tightly her knuckles were white. She didn't say anything at first, just stood there trembling. "Can you explain this?" she finally managed to ask, shoving her phone in my face. It was a video of me, except it wasn't me, not really, but it looked exactly like me, down to the shirt I'd worn to the conference. In the video, I was kissing some girl in what appeared to be a hotel lobby. The video quality was disturbingly good. If I hadn't known for a stone-cold fact that I'd spent every evening in my hotel room watching Netflix and FaceTiming Rachel, I might have questioned my own sanity. The lighting was perfect. The movements looked natural. Even the background matched the hotel where I was staying. It was like watching an evil doppelganger, a twisted version of myself, doing something I knew I could never do. I started trying to explain, my voice cracking. Rachel, this isn't real. I wasn't there. I swear. I never even left my room after the conference ended. I grabbed my own phone, frantically scrolling through my location history. Look, my Google timeline. It shows exactly where I was. All the time. I held it out to her, my heart pounding in my chest like a drum solo. You know me, Rachel. You know I would never do something like this. But Rachel barely glanced at my screen. Her face was a mask of cold fury. Don't lie to me, she spat. I can see you in the video. It's you, wearing the exact same clothes you had at that conference. Same damn hotel, same sterile everything. What the hell was I supposed to think? Did she honestly believe some fairy godmother conjured this out of thin air? I opened my mouth to defend myself, but the words just died in my throat. The video, it was too convincing. The minute details, the way the guy moved, that little twitch I have when I turn my head. It was all there. Someone had put a sickening amount of work into this. Even that grainy timestamp in the corner looked like it belonged on genuine security footage. Rachel, I swear to you. I managed to choke out, desperation clawing at my voice. That's not me. She just shook her head, backing away like I was some kind of leper. I can't do this, she whispered, her voice cracking under the strain. I can't be with someone who lies to my face. And just like that, I felt the ground giving way beneath me. While I was still scrambling for words, my office phone started blaring. It was Marcus, all fake concern, telling me Rachel had called him a blubbering mess about some video. He was asking if I was okay, if there was anything he could do to help, playing the perfect concerned brother act. That's when the pieces started clicking into place. The way Marcus had been constantly hovering around lately, how he always seemed to know our schedules. He must have been plotting this for weeks, maybe even months. I knew he'd always had a soft spot for Rachel, ever since she first came around, but I never thought he was capable of something this elaborate. Rachel wasn't buying any of it, though. She kept rewinding the damn video, fixating on every detail. That's exactly how you walk, she insisted. That's the suit you packed for the conference dinner. She was right. The details were perfect, too perfect. Marcus warned me about this, she muttered, still glued to the screen. He said you'd try to lie. He said when guys get caught, they start scrambling, making excuses, trying to make you doubt what you're seeing with your own eyes. She finally looked up at me, and the raw hurt etched on her face felt like a physical blow. I didn't want to believe him, but look at this. Look at you. What else am I supposed to think? That's when I knew for sure. Marcus had gotten to her first. He'd poisoned her against me, laid the groundwork, so that anything I said would just sound like a guilty man trying to cover his tracks. And the worst part was, he was the only one who could have pulled this off. The only one with access to my life, my schedule, my clothes, my habits. The only one with a twisted enough motive to go this far. To make matters worse, some of our coworkers saw Rachel crying in my office. You know how office gossip works. Spreads like a damn plague. By the end of the day, my boss called me in for a little chat about company values. I went home that night to an empty apartment. Rachel had packed a bag and bolted, said she was staying with a friend. The next morning, I woke up to a message from Rachel. More evidence. Marcus had somehow fabricated a whole damn trail. Fake hotel receipts, more security camera footage, even forged text messages. He'd thought of everything. I stared at my phone screen, numb. Where had all of this even come from? How did he get access to all of this? The receipts, the timestamps, the footage. This wasn't just some half-assed attempt to frame me. This was premeditated. This took serious planning, and that's what really made my skin crawl. The sheer amount of effort he put into this, the meticulous level of detail. How far had he gone? I just couldn't sit there and take it. I needed to understand. That night, the drive to Marcus' place was almost a blur. My mind was racing too fast to really register the route. When I finally hammered on his door, he opened it. That same cocky smirk plastered across his face that I'd seen 1,000 times since we were kids. He leaned against the doorframe like I was just some unwelcome salesman. "Wow, you look like hell," he said, that smirk widening. "Rough few days, huh?" I just pushed past him, barging into his apartment, barely keeping myself from completely losing it. "I know it was you." I managed to get out, my voice barely above a whisper, but laced with a threat. He actually laughed out loud. "You think I have the time or energy to ruin your life? Get over yourself, you're not that important." The urge to punch him was overwhelming. My fists clenched involuntarily, my whole body buzzing with a raw, animalistic energy. But that's exactly what he wanted. He was practically begging me to lose my cool, to give him the excuse to play the innocent victim. Then explain the receipts, the security footage, the texts. Explain how Rachel conveniently stumbled upon a perfect trail of evidence right after talking to you. He just shrugged, like it was no big deal. "Maybe she finally saw you for who you really are. Or maybe—" He leaned in close, dropping his voice to a conspiratorial whisper. "Maybe you're just desperate to find someone else to blame because you can't face what you did." My hands twitched, ready to connect with his jaw. I took a step closer, and for the first time, I saw a flicker of genuine emotion cross his face. Anticipation. He wanted this to turn physical. So I forced myself to step back. I knew that if I hit him, he'd exploit it, twist the narrative, make me look even worse. I took a sharp breath, my hands still shaking as I backed towards the door. "You're a liar, Marcus, and you're going to seriously regret this. And you're pathetic." His voice dripped with mocking amusement. "But hey, good luck trying to prove it." I slammed the door behind me so hard the whole apartment building probably shook. But it didn't give me any satisfaction. That weekend was a complete haze. Rachel wouldn't answer my calls, wouldn't even acknowledge me. My boss had put me on administrative leave, pending some bullshit internal investigation. Marcus was even texting me, pretending to be concerned, offering to help me find a therapist to deal with my issues. By Monday morning, my life was effectively over. I walked into work, and security was waiting for me right at the entrance. They handed me a cardboard box filled with my stuff from my desk. My key card was useless, deactivated. Just like that, 5 years of my life at that company, gone. My boss sent some generic, corporate email about maintaining the company's reputation and upholding ethical standards. HR followed up with a bunch of paperwork about the immediate termination of my employment. Nobody even bothered to ask for my side of the story. I tried calling Rachel again, desperate. This time, one of her friends answered, telling me to stop harassing her, and threatening a restraining order if I didn't leave her alone. That one hit me hard. Rachel and I had always promised to talk through anything, no matter how bad it was. Now, she wouldn't even give me a chance to speak. Then my phone started exploding with notifications. Apparently, Rachel's friend had posted something on Facebook about supporting her friend through a terrible betrayal, and tagged a bunch of our mutual friends. People I'd known for years started unfriending me, cutting me off. I got messages calling me every vile name imaginable. My best friend from college, a guy I'd known for 12 years, texted me, "Dude, I saw the video. Never thought you'd do something like that." I just sent him one word, fake. He left me on read, and that was that. I never heard from him again. The situation spiraled completely out of control when my parents got involved. Marcus had apparently shown them the video. Instead of questioning why their perfect little manipulator had that video in the first place, they called to tell me how deeply disappointed they were in me. The look on my mom's face as she cried was the worst part. It wasn't anger, it was utter disappointment. "I raised you better than this?" she sobbed, those words hitting harder than any accusation. I tried to explain, laid out everything as logically as I could. I even showed them the data, my phone's location history, proof the timeline was impossible, how Marcus had been acting shifty for weeks leading up to this whole mess. I hammered home the inconsistencies, the details that just didn't fit. Dad just sighed, rubbing his temples. Son, you need to own up to your mistakes instead of making excuses and pointing fingers at your brother. Felt like he'd already decided I was guilty. Mom wouldn't meet my eyes, her arms crossed so tightly it looked painful, staring at the floor like I was some kind of disease. Her silence was a deafening scream. Lisa, my sister in Canada, barely in touch with the family as it was, sent a short text saying something felt off, but she was dealing with her own problems and couldn't really get involved. The weeks that followed were a living hell. I couldn't even land a job interview. The story had somehow gone viral in my professional circle. My landlord, after what he called several noise complaints, decided not to renew my lease. Even the baristas at my regular coffee shop started looking at me sideways. My savings were disappearing fast. Unemployment wasn't going to keep me afloat for long. I started selling my possessions. My gaming PC, my mountain bike, anything that wasn't absolutely essential. I kept replaying past moments in my head, the times I'd gone out of my way to help friends, colleagues, and now, nothing but radio silence. The only one who didn't ditch me was Mike, my buddy from the gym. He never really bought into the cheating story, mentioned something about Marcus giving him the creeps. Mike was the only one who listened one night as I ranted in my increasingly bare apartment, Rachel having taken most of what we'd accumulated. I hit my lowest point staring at my phone, watching people I thought were my friends share passive-aggressive posts about karma and true colors. Then Mike called. "Pack your stuff," he said, no preamble. "Everything. I'm coming over with my truck." I started to protest, tell him it was fine, but he wouldn't let me. "Look, man, there's nothing left for you here. My cousin owns a gym in Portland. He needs help running the place. It's not a marketing job, but it's something. We're leaving tomorrow." That's how I ended up tossing what remained of my life into Mike's beat-up pickup truck at 5 a.m. on a Tuesday. I left the key to my apartment in the mailbox and drove away from 5 years of my life. Just like that. That morning, bouncing along in Mike's truck, that was the official end of my old life. Everything I thought I knew about loyalty, love, family, it all shifted, reconfigured. But sometimes you have to lose everything to see who's really on your side. Portland wasn't what I expected. Dave, Mike's cousin, ran this old-school gym in a brick building that had definitely seen better days. No fancy machines, no smoothie bar, just the basics, free weights, a few rusty machines, and regulars who looked like they'd been coming there for decades. For the first couple of weeks, I crashed on Mike's couch. Dave let me work at the gym, mostly cleaning equipment, stocking supplies, and doing basic maintenance. The pay was terrible, barely minimum wage, but I didn't have many options. My marketing resume was basically worthless with the blacklisting going on back home. Slowly, though, the gym became more than just a job. The people there didn't know about my past, didn't care about some stupid video or online drama. They only cared if you showed up, put in the work, and treated people with respect. Mike and I started talking about opening our own gym, something better than Dave's outdated setup. 6 months later, we opened the doors to Iron Grit Fitness with 3 rickety treadmills, a mismatched set of free weights, and 0 customers. My marketing efforts consisted of handing out flyers at coffee shops and clinging to blind hope. The first month, we barely covered half our expenses, but word started to spread. People responded to our straightforward approach far better than those fancy corporate gyms. I started out just correcting beginners' form, showing them the ropes. I realized I had a knack for it, and before I knew it, I was offering personal training. Losing my marketing job might actually have been the best thing that ever happened to me. Sure, the money wasn't the same, but for the first time in what felt like forever, I was genuinely happy. But my life truly shifted when I met Anna. She was a kindergarten teacher, and I could tell her back was killing her from wrangling kids all day. She was hesitant and nervous when she first showed up at the gym. She admitted right away that she felt lost. By the end of that first session, she specifically requested to train with me. Over time, our sessions evolved into conversations that I found myself anticipating more than I cared to admit. It wasn't until Mike offhandedly commented on how often I mentioned her that I really recognized that I had real feelings for her. The next time I saw her, I finally asked her out. She just smiled, a knowing kind of smile, and said, "I was beginning to wonder when you would." Dating Anna was different. There wasn't any pressure from her about my past or what I did before. She let me talk about it on my own terms and waited until I felt ready. About 6 months into our relationship, I decided to open up and tell her everything. Instead of reacting with questions or judgment, she just hugged me and simply said, "Thank you for trusting me." That's when I knew deep down that she was the one. Eventually, we decided to move in together. We ended up at her place because of its amazing balcony garden and princess. Her cat, who, strangely enough, liked me from day one, felt right, felt like home. I ended up marrying Anna because, well, when you find someone who truly sees you, the real you, you just don't let them go. There's no other choice. Now, fast forward a few years and we've got twins, Ben and Sarah, both 4 years old. They're basically tiny, miniature tornadoes that have somehow also learned to speak. Anna is incredible with them. I'm still trying to figure out this whole dad thing, but they seem to like me well enough. The gym is thriving. We even added a kids area so parents can get their workouts in while their kids play. Anna teaches a weekend yoga class now, too. We're not rich by any means, but we're happy. We've built something real, something honest together. I honestly thought that was my happy ending. A normal life, a beautiful family, and a successful business. I finally felt like I'd put the past firmly behind me. But lately, I received a message from an old friend. Let's call him Chris. The message was just a video attachment with the simple text, "You need to see this." I almost deleted it without even watching it. Chris was a part of my old life, and I hadn't talked to him since everything fell apart. But some morbid curiosity maybe, made me click play. The video was shaky, filmed in some loud club back home. The music was deafening, people yelling over each other. Then Marcus appears on screen, barely able to stand up straight, clutching the bar for support. He was talking loudly, trying to impress some girls at the bar. "You want to hear something crazy?" Marcus slurs in the video. "Remember my brother, the one who moved away? Man, I really messed him up good." He laughs like it was the funniest thing in the world. "Found this guy online, some real professional with all that AI stuff. Cost me like 15 grand, but it was worth every single penny. I had him make this perfect video. It looked exactly like my brother was cheating, even matched the clothes he wore on his work trip." The girls didn't seem particularly impressed, but Marcus keeps rambling on. His girlfriend believed it immediately. You should have seen the look on her face. Everyone believed it. He lost his job, his friends, everything just like that. He snaps his fingers and almost loses his balance. The best part is nobody even questioned it. My parents still think he's the bad guy. They have no idea that their perfect son paid some Russian dude to make fake videos. More laughter. Then Chris's voice can be heard from behind the camera. "Dude, that's messed up. Why would you do something like that to your own brother?" Marcus gets this weird look on his face, a twisted expression. "Because he had everything I wanted. Good job, nice girlfriend. Everybody liked him. He didn't deserve any of that mess. All I did was try to make things right." The video cut off there. Even though I knew my brother was the architect of all of it, I couldn't help myself. I must have watched it 20 times, dissecting every word, every smug look on his face. Then the cost slammed into me, $15,000. My own brother dropped 15 grand not just to smear me with fake evidence and twisted messages, but on something far more calculated, something designed to truly wound me. The professional way the video was crafted, how believable it looked, even I had a flicker of doubt. It wasn't some amateur hack job. This was something else entirely. A cold dread washed over me. That's when the full weight of his betrayal finally hit me. I just sat there, phone in hand, my thoughts spiraling. Anna found me like that. She watched the video once, her face growing grim, then quietly asked what I wanted to do about it. Before I could even answer, my phone started blowing up with messages. The damn video was spreading like wildfire. Chris, that backstabbing weasel, showed it around the club. From there, it was out of control. My parents were the first to call. Mom was sobbing so hard I could barely understand her. Dad kept trying to apologize, but but he didn't seem to grasp the situation. He kept going on about how they should have known, how could Marcus do this, like they were the ones who had been betrayed. Then the texts from old friends started trickling in. "Man, I'm so sorry. I should have believed you." Each one stung like a slap in the face. Where was this support 5 years ago when I actually needed it? Rachel messaged too. A long, rambling paragraph overflowing with guilt and regret. Apparently, after I disappeared, she and Marcus got married. They even have a kid now. But her message felt different. Not just about apologies, but something more urgent. She needed to tell me something important, something that couldn't wait, and asked if we could meet in person. Then another message. "It's about your nephew." Nephew? That word hit me like a punch to the gut. I did the mental math in my head. The timing lined up perfectly. Rachel got pregnant right after everything fell apart, right after she and Marcus got together. She kept messaging, explaining that Marcus bolted when she told him about the baby, hasn't paid a dime in child support, refuses to even acknowledge the kid exists. She's struggling, working 2 jobs just to keep their heads above water. She also confessed how much she suffered in their relationship, dealing with his constant manipulations and bearing the burden of it all alone. Part of me, the bitter, angry part, wanted to feel vindicated, wanted her to finally taste the poison of Marcus's manipulation, after she chose to believe him over me without a second thought. But seeing her struggling alone with a kid, caught in the same web of lies and deception I endured, just felt empty. Yeah, she should have believed me back then. She should have known better. But Marcus fooled everyone, not just her. And now there's an innocent kid caught in the middle of all this ugliness. I showed Anna her messages. She just took my hand and said, "Whatever you decide, I'm with you." That's just who she is. She doesn't tell me what to do. She just supports whatever choice I make. Mike came over when I told him what was happening, brought a pizza, and sat with me on the back porch while I tried to process everything. He simply asked what my gut was telling me. "The kid's innocent," I said. He didn't ask for any of this. Mike nodded in understanding. "So, what are you thinking?" I spent the whole night hashing it out with Anna. She brought up something I hadn't even considered. This could be an opportunity to break the cycle, to teach my kids what it truly means to be a decent person, even when people have wronged you. The next morning, I called my lawyer and established a trust fund for the kid, enough to cover his education and give him a solid start in life. I made it crystal clear the money was for him, not for Rachel or Marcus. Monthly deposits, but absolutely no contact. I don't want to confuse him about who's who in his life. Rachel messaged again, begging to meet so she could explain everything. Anna told me to do whatever brings me peace, but honestly, I don't need any more explanations. That video, it showed me everything. No room for doubt. My parents keep trying, the calls, the emails. They want to see the kids, meet their grandkids, say they want to fix things, make amends. But I can't. I can't risk them. Not with my children. Some things, some hurts, they just don't heal. Some bridges are better left burned. I sent Marcus a message. Short, to the point. "I saw the video. Money's been set aside for your son's future. Don't contact me again." He tried calling a dozen times at least. Left voicemails, all the same story. Sorry, changed, wants to make things right. I deleted them all. Didn't even listen to the end. Tomorrow's for the kids. I'm taking Ben and Sarah to the zoo. Anna's packing a picnic, her famous potato salad. Mike and his new girl are coming too. That's what matters now. The family we chose, the life we built together. The truth came out finally. But it wasn't the Hollywood ending. No catharsis. No moment of redemption. Just confirmation of what I already knew in my gut. Sometimes you just can't fix the past. You have to let it go and build something new, something better for the future. Life is different now, that's for sure, but not how I thought it would be. Getting cleared after 5 years of hell isn't a movie scene. No triumphant victory, no revenge fantasy playing out. Just a whole mess of complicated emotions and situations to navigate. Rachel keeps sending photos of her kid, my nephew. He's got the same dark hair I did at that age, the same mischievous glint in his eyes. She says he's obsessed with dinosaurs, wants to be a firefighter when he grows up. Each photo is a knife twist, a glimpse into a what-if, a life I could have had if things had gone differently. The trust fund is set up now, tight as a drum. My lawyer made damn sure of it. The money goes directly to education, clothes, basic necessities. Rachel can submit receipts for reimbursement, but she can't touch the principal. He gets control when he turns 21. It's not a fortune, but it's enough to give him a shot, to give him some choices in life. Found out Marcus lost his job after the video went viral. Turns out, his company wasn't thrilled with him spending thousands on deepfake videos to frame his own brother. He even tried showing up at my parents' place, but they slammed the door in his face. Karma's a strange beast. My sister came to visit last month. First time I'd seen her in years. She watched the twins playing in the backyard, running around with the dog, and just started crying. Said, "You should have done more, should have known something was wrong." I told her she was the only one who even questioned it back then. My parents, they still don't get it. They send these emails about healing, about moving forward as a family. Last week, Mom mailed this whole photo album of my childhood pictures, as if seeing pictures of happier times would magically erase everything. But I'm not that little kid anymore. I don't care about any of that. The gym's doing great. We're expanding now, opening a second location across town. Mike's going to run that one while I manage the original. Last week, this new client came in, a guy who looked really familiar. Turns out he was from my old company. He didn't recognize me at first, then got all awkward when he realized who I was, started apologizing about believing the video, about how everyone at the office feels terrible now. I told him not to worry about it, set him up with a training program for his back pain. Sometimes the best revenge is just being damn good at what you do. Anna thinks I should write a book about everything that happened, says it might help other people who've been falsely accused, lost everything. Maybe someday. Right now, I'm just focused on the life we built, on protecting what we have. Rachel sent another message yesterday. My nephew's asking questions about his dad, about his family. It's never really over, is it? He reached out, asked if I'd be open to meeting him sometime. I've left the message hanging, haven't replied, and honestly, I'm not sure I ever will. Life feels fuller without him. And then there's Anna. She's pregnant again. We found out last week. Another girl. The ultrasound confirmed it. We're keeping it quiet for now, not broadcasting the news. But it feels right to tell you all, to share this small piece of my life with, well, strangers. People who've been listening to my story. Sometimes, late at night, I find myself wondering what I'd say to the younger version of myself, the one standing on the precipice of everything collapsing. I think I'd tell him that losing everything, that agonizing heartbreak, would eventually lead to something better. That the family you build, the family you choose, possesses a strength the family you were born into could never offer. And strangely enough, that some of the most brutal acts inflicted upon you can, in the long run, propel you toward a life you wouldn't have otherwise imagined, a better version of yourself. The twins are calling, their little voices echoing through the house. Saturday morning means pancakes. Our ritual is a chaotic, flower-dusted symphony, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. Things at the gym are going well, really well. And no, there's absolutely no reconciliation on the horizon with Marcus. He's a chapter closed. Ben and Sarah? They're obsessed with proper form, even when training their stuffed animals. Seeing them meticulously guide Mr. Snuggles through a bicep curl is unbelievably adorable. And for those of you who've been messaging me about selling my story to Netflix, thanks, but no thanks. This isn't that kind of story. This is just my life.